welcome to a brand new vlog. So in case you're new here, hi, my name is Diane. I work in film and television as an on-set props person, but I'm also working on becoming a self-published author. And I make videos about that and my life, my writing journey, and all that stuff here on my YouTube channel, and you're watching one of them, so subscribe if you like the vibe. Today is Sunday, it's August 13th. Today is the day that I'm sending out my third draft to my CPs. So if you've been keeping up with my vlogs, or if you follow me on Instagram, you'll already know that I have finished draft 3 on August 10th. I finished it on Thursday, and I meant to give myself Friday, Saturday, and a bit of today to get the draft ready, to get all my stuff in order to send to my CPs. I have not done that. I meant to work on it on Friday and Saturday, but other things just kind of came up and I didn't. So we are doing that today. Everything that I wanted to spend 3 days doing, I now need to shove into a couple hours today. So I want to have my draft and everything sent to my CPs by 9 p.m. tonight, so I do have a little bit of time. It's 10:40 right now in the morning, and I'm just about to dive into some Ben work. I have nothing planned today other than going to see my parents, so I basically have all day to do the work. I feel like I can do that. Again, I wanted a little bit more time so I can do, like a decent sweep through the draft, but it's gonna have to be like the quickest sweep of my life now. So I apologize in advance to my CPs. It's gonna be a bit of a mess. Kind of just wanted to document the process because this is the first time I'm getting a draft ready to send to CP, so I wanted to document that. But I also just wanted to kind of show you a little bit of kind of the questions I'm asking my CPs, like how I'm doing things. Again, like I said, this is the first time I'm doing it, so I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm asking the right questions. And I'm sure it's different for every author. They're looking for, different kinds of feedback from their CPs and whatnot, but I'm gonna show you what I'm doing for my first time with this book. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first I'm gonna start by opening up all the different documents that I need currently. So I did start a document over the last couple days. I did start a document that's kind of like a draft of the email that I'm gonna be sending to all of my CPs. And I mean, it's kind of just turned into where I've been collecting all the stuff, like even the questions and stuff that I have. So I'm opening that. I do have the draft open. So what I'm gonna do, okay, so I have the draft written on Google Docs. That's what I'm gonna use to send to my CPs. Like I'm just gonna share the document with them. And I think what I'm gonna do is create a separate copy for each CP, just so that I don't have everyone's comments on the same document. Like I want the separate document so that I can look at each person's individual comments and not, like I just don't want it to get, I don't want it to be overwhelming. Plus I feel like that might be a little bit better for my CP as well, like to kind of just have their own private place to send feedback instead of seeing other people's feedback. And then, I don't know. I figured it'd be better to do the separate documents. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna prepare the document. I did leave some notes and stuff for myself when I first started writing the third draft, so I'm just gonna clear those out so that's a clean document for my CPs. I'm gonna go through each chapter. I'm not gonna read through each chapter because that would take me quite a while and I don't have that much time. So I'm gonna skim through, and then I'm also in a separate document I'm gonna write down any questions that I might have for my CPs. Like I know that there are some chapters where there's specific scenes where I'm like, is this needed or whatnot? So I think I'm gonna write a little document on the side where I'm gonna write down each chapter and then any questions that I have for my CPs in that specific chapter, and then I'll take all of those questions and stuff and create the main document that I'm gonna be sending my CPs as far as like what I'm looking for in terms of feedback. The whole draft needs a lot of work, but especially the first 4 or 5 chapters they just need so much work. I don't like how I start the prologue. I don't like how I start chapter 1. It's, But I'm not going to worry too much about it right now, okay? Like this is why I'm sending it to CPs, is because I need help. So I'm gonna start with the prologue, and we're just gonna do a quick, a quick glance through it. Do I want to write it out? No, I just want to have a document open and then I'll do it that way. I'm also gonna make sure that things are, the formatting is not gonna be good, but I just want to make sure I have each new chapter starting at the top of a page. That's the only thing I want to make sure of. I feel like I'm gonna get bogged down trying to make line level changes and fixing dialogue tags and punctuation fun. Okay, I'm gonna get started on this and then I will update you hopefully not too long from now, letting you know that I have finished this part of the process. I'm hoping it doesn't take more than 2 hours. I don't want it to take longer than 2 hours. Believe it or not, it's been 2 hours. I'm on chapter 9. I mean, the good thing is, so I'm glad I'm doing at least this like really quick sweep because I have fixed a couple of things. So I've been doing that. I've also been writing out the questions that I have for each chapter so far, but it is definitely taking, it's taken a while. It's taking a bit longer than I thought it would, although I'm still making pretty good time. If I can finish going through the rest of the chapters in the next 2.5 hours, that'll be pretty good, and I'll have pretty much all the questions ready, so I'll just have to write out like the email and like the general stuff. I am gonna stop for lunch really soon. I'll probably get to like chapter 12 maybe. I'll do 3 more chapters. Let's see how long the rest of these chapters take me. Oh my god, I did it. Okay, so it's about 5:30 right now. I have officially sent everything to everybody. I finished going through the draft and just kind of fixing things and making sure that, you know, chapters were on the right pages and whatnot. I just did like a once-over. Very quick once over. I finished writing out the Google form with the questions that I had for each chapter. I didn't have like a crazy amount. I had a few, but not a crazy amount. And then I finished drafting out the email and just kind of outlining all the things that I was looking for in this feedback and this critique. And I just finished sending everything to each individual person. So now everybody has everything, and I feel sick. I feel unwell. My lower back is hurting. That's why I'm standing, because I've just been sitting for like 6 hours. But I just wanted to quickly go over the things that I asked my CPs about. I'm not going to go over the specific questions like in the Google form because those are just like specific to my story and the different scenes and chapters. But I can tell you in general just the overall things that I'm looking for feedback on in this draft. So first thing I asked about is characters, and I'm kind of looking for any comments and feedback on, you know, character motivations, if there's any like unclear motivations, unclear goals. I want to know what they think about the character development, about the relationships between characters, all that, like the arcs, all that sort of stuff. And then of course plot. So basically, are there any major plot holes? Are there any sort of plot threads that are just like left dangling at some point? And then just sort of, are there any scenes that are kind of underdeveloped or that need a little bit more depth? Stuff like that. And then I want them to kind of comment on the overall just like flow and pacing of the book. I feel like there might be pacing issues with the book just because the chapters definitely vary in length quite a bit, and like they tend to fall on the longer side. So I feel like the pacing might be a little slow, or it might just be a little wonky. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm too close. So I definitely want feedback on that. And then this kind of goes with plot as well, but I just want them to kind of comment on the structure. So are there any like missing beats? Are there any underdeveloped beats? I want to know if I have a mushy middle. I want to know if there's just like a lack of tension. Like if I feel like there's a lack of tension definitely in this book. I don't know. Like I said, I can't tell. I'm so close to the story that I feel like there's everything wrong with it, you know? It just feels like it's lacking in everything at this point. But yeah, I do want them to comment on the structure and stuff. I didn't follow any specific beats, so there might be missing beats. I definitely wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking for feedback on in this draft. The next thing is credibility. I found that a lot of the questions I was asking in chapters, like especially near the beginning, a lot of the questions were like, does this feel realistic? Like, is this believable? Like, does it seem like this character would do something like that? Does it seem like a normal person would do something like that? Does it seem a little weird? Like those are a lot of my questions are like that, because there are certain things where I'm like, is this believable? Would you buy this? And so the next thing I asked for feedback on is causality. And basically what I'm looking for here is if there are strong causal links between scenes, or if the scenes just feel like, you know, disjointed little scenes and there's no like clear link between the previous scene to the next scene. I don't know, I might have links, but it just might be, it might not be very clear, which goes into the next thing that I've asked my CPs for feedback on, which is clarity. Basically, is what I'm trying to get across, like, is it coming across? Basically anything that's potentially weak or confusing or unclear at all. Whether that's character motivations or like specific things that happen in scenes or, you know, exposition stuff. I don't know. Just if there's anything unclear, I want to know about it. And then the last thing I asked for feedback on is dialogue. Dialogue is like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of comments on dialogue. I feel like repetitive dialogue and just like contrived dialogue is probably like, I feel like those are big issues in this draft. There are a number of scenes that I feel like the dialogue is really just there to like move the plot along or, you know, reveal something. Like it doesn't, I want it to feel natural. I want it to feel authentic, organic. Like I want it to feel that way. But right now I feel like there are scenes that are just, it's just so obvious that the characters are only having this conversation because like I'm trying to, you know, get either like a theme across or I'm trying to move the plot along. So I want to know their thoughts on that and any instances of that and, you know, their feedback on that and how I can help fix that. In general, I do feel like I have issues in all of these categories to some degree. So definitely getting their feedback and seeing, you know, them pinpoint instances where that's the case will help when I go for my next draft, when I'm doing my next revision. And then as far as other kind of general questions that I asked in my Google form, I did ask them if they could think of any comp titles because I have no idea for comp titles. And I feel like having comp titles might just like help me be able to like talk about the book and kind of give people an idea of what the story is about in a way that's a little bit more familiar. And then because I am terrible at titling things, I'm so bad at coming up with titles for anything. I did ask if they have any ideas for titles for the book. And then I also asked, because I haven't come up with this yet, it's very hard for me. It is so hard. But I asked if they were able to describe the story in like a couple sentences. I'm also just curious to see how the story is interpreted. So I want to see what their idea of the story is and like what they got from it. I think that's really interesting. So I did ask them if they could do that as well. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Those are the main things that I asked about. There's things that I told them to kind of ignore at this point, even though there's going to be a lot of it. But essentially I asked them to ignore any sort of copy or line level issues. There's a lot of like formatting issues and inconsistencies and stuff all throughout the draft. Stylistic things and stuff like that. It's just, I'm not at that stage yet. So I don't want them to waste their time and energy because there's going to be a lot. I absolutely do not expect them to give me like a line level edit at this point. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't know if this was helpful at all. how do I feel? I mean, for one, I definitely feel proud that I'm at this stage. Like I'm excited to be at this stage. I also feel a lot of like relief and knowing that, you know, for the next at least month, I'm gonna kind of put Ben on the back burner. I don't need to focus all of my time and energy on that story. I can take some time away from it. And I'm very much looking forward to that because there's something else that I have going on that is gonna be taking up all of my time and energy now. So I'm excited to hop into that again. So yeah, I'm officially done with draft 3. I am officially done with prepping and sending my draft and my questions and everything to my CPs. Also, I've been calling them CPs, but they're like CPs / alpha readers because there are like some people I send it to that like I haven't ever critique their work before, so it's not quite that like reciprocal CP relationship, but I definitely would. So yeah, it's like CP alpha reader. Basically, it's the first people ever to read this book in its entirety other than me. But yeah, that's it. I feel a little bit sad now that like, you know, I'm like relieved that I don't have to work on Ben for a little bit, but I'm also a little bit sad because it's like, that's like my whole identity. It is the main project that I have focused my time and energy on, and so it feels, you know, there's a little bit of sadness. I don't know. Anyway, let me know how you're doing. Let me know if this video was helpful. I can try to go into a little bit more detail. But again, this is the first time I've ever done something like this, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is the best way. I don't know if it's the right way. I don't know if I've asked enough questions. I don't know if I'm, you know, looking for feedback on the right things or enough things, or maybe I'm looking for feedback on too many things for this draft. I don't know. But this is what's working for me right now. This is what I'm doing, and we'll see. You know, maybe my process will change with future books. Right now, this is where we're at, and I'm loving it. I'm feeling good. So for anyone who's wondering what my writing vlogs are gonna be like for the next couple weeks while I'm not working on Ben, don't you worry. I will fill you in on some things very, very soon. But yeah, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know how your writing is going, what you're watching, what you're reading. Let me know all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and if you got to the end of this video, comment down below, stay gold, because you are golden. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.